YouTube, how's it going? The Goat House is back. Today, I'm ranking every starting quarterback in the AFC from worst to first, from 16 to 1. Very important. I'm basing this off on how I think they will perform this 2022 season. So essentially, it is predictions. Some people kind of get confused by that when I do these rankings every year. We're focusing on this upcoming season. I'll do the same video for NFC. So we'll rank the 16 NFC quarterbacks. We're going to do all kinds of position rankings and more to come here leading up to this upcoming 2022 season. So join us, like, subscribe, turn notifications on. You guys are always playing along on Twitter with these types of things. A lot of live updates, news, rumors, and more. Check us out on Twitter, link down below. Yeah, I just asked you, kind of gave you a heads up. I'm doing this video, asked you guys your rankings. I already see 8 comments. It's fantastic. I love to see everyone's different opinion. Really, there's no wrong answer unless you're kind of trolling, you know. So I love to see the different answers there, rankings. So we'll go 4 at a time at the bottom here. So number 16, I have Jacoby Brissett in there because it's starting to sound like Deshaun Watson's going to be suspended for a lengthy time. It might be the entire season, but I'm always blocking something. So I'd actually rank kind of a question mark because I'd actually rank Deshaun Watson at 4. If he was playing full season here, so that kind of get an idea where I think of Deshaun Watson. I also factored in small piece of it that he didn't miss a year. If he didn't kind of miss a year and was kind of fresh, I'd probably put him at 3 actually. But that'd be if he. So 4 if he's not suspended. But I think he's going to be suspended for at least like 8 games, but it's starting to sound like maybe the whole season. So Brissett at 16. I actually originally had Pickett at 16, Brissett at 15, but yeah, Brissett hasn't really got the job done even when coming in, executing, trying to win games. Pickett going into. And Pickett I wasn't super high on, fumbling issues, and I do worry about, NFL zone coverage, especially along the sideline. I think those teams will kind of get their hands on the ball in that category, and that's those situations. Very good throwing over the middle of the field, more athletic than given credit for, pretty accurate. But he's going into a pretty good situation with the Steelers. Good receivers, good coaching. They just have that winning attitude. So maybe Pickett plays a little bit better than we once thought, but I put him at 15. Davis Mills looked very solid last year. It's just one of those ones I think everyone's with me on. Everyone's impressed. Everyone's excited about him, but it's a little hesitate to fully buy in. Need more of a sample size there it was just a sample size, but a lot of these guys are. But I got him at 14. Looked pretty solid. Texans are starting to build that team up, so that could help Davis Mills out a bit. I put Zach Wilson at 13, and Mills I really thought looked better than Wilson last year. But again, I'll keep mentioning I'm predicting the upcoming season, and they're still prospects to me, and I'm still kind of not fully because I do got to go off a little bit what they showed us so far. But I'm going to go off my prospect evaluation. We're all pretty high on Wilson. Maybe not as high on him now at what we saw last year. He's got to make the layup throws, but they got a good coaching staff. They put a lot of very good talent around him, so I think that boosts him up. So I do have him ahead of Mills, even though Mills played better last year. I would like to see both these guys play a full season for their teams this year. So Zach Wilson at 13. Next up, and then we'll get the top 8. We'll go one by one to reveal them. Number 12, we're going to go Tua Tagovailoa, who's struggled. He's struggled so far. So kind of with this, banking on a little bit of progression, staying healthy, and the help of Tyreek Hill, Jalen Waddle's progression, new coaching staff. So that should boost Tua Tagovailoa. Some of those young guys have potential to be better than him. He's got to be a little more consistent. Again, we want to see him every game of that season. So I do think there was a cutoff after that. I actually have Ryan Tannehill at 11. I dropped him down. First I come up with a rough draft kind of, and I start thinking about it. Again, I'm predicting this upcoming season, thinking more and more about it. These couple of these second-year guys, I'm expecting big leaps from. We'll talk about them in a second. But then Tannehill, you look at the difference 2 years ago versus last year. He kind of took a step down last year. Team's kind of figuring out that offense, that system, and he's coming off that rough game in the playoffs there. There's no question that he can still play, but are we seeing kind of a trend on, he's not going to get any better while these couple of the very good young quarterbacks should be getting better. So I ended up putting Tannehill at 11. We'll see if he steps up because he played great 2 seasons ago. He played fantastic and way better than 11. So we'll see if he gets back to that point there. I got Mac Jones at 10. Was the best of the group last year. Very good season, very accurate. I like the toughness. I like the escapability was better than we thought as well. The mobility, able to move, fight for extra yards. And they add a guy like Devontae Parker. That helps. They have a very solid offensive line. So year 2, he could continue to step up. I guess I'm not a big stats guy. They matter. But I guess somewhat similar to Ryan Tannehill last year, and now he could take that step up. So, yeah, does he just kind of edge him out there? And I got Trevor Lawrence at 9. That could be, every time I do these ranking videos where I'm essentially predicting the upcoming season, kind of based on how I think they'll play, there's always people with problems, you kind of got unproven guys or what they did last year, and then that crowd would probably be upset with me having Lawrence ahead of even Mac Jones, a second-year guy, because Mac Jones played a lot better than him last year. But Ryan Tannehill, maybe some of these other guys as well. But Lawrence was that elite top-tier prospect for a reason. I'm banking on him kind of not fully reaching it in year 2, but playing a lot better. I'm not really worried about what he did last year. It's almost a wipe for me. A new coaching staff, some better talent around there. In Jacksonville on that offense. So I think he'll head in that right direction. I think we'll start to see a lot more flashes of what we thought Trevor Lawrence could be or become. So, big boost for Lawrence. I'm kind of banking on him kind of somewhat living up. He doesn't even need to live up fully to that hype yet, that prospect hype yet. He just kind of needs to start to get there, and then he'll be even solid because that hype where we had him and what he can become was something very, very, very special. So I got Trevor Lawrence at 9, so expecting a pretty solid year for him. Out of the top 8, some really good quarterbacks here. I got Matt Ryan at number 8 of the Colts. Now with the Colts, I'm excited to see that because Matt Ryan was starting to decline a little bit, but at the same time, the Falcons' offensive line went from elite or kind of great to good to pretty bad the last 2 years. Now he's going back to that elite offensive line with the Indianapolis Colts, a great offensive mind in Frank Reich. So maybe I'm starting to get believe a little bit more in this Matt Ryan Colts train. I was not a big believer in the Wentz with the Colts. I'm starting to believe a little bit more with Matt Ryan there. Will he go back to playing the same way he was when he had an elite or great offensive line? No, but it should be a lot better than last year. I wish they would add another big-time receiver. Maybe they can grab one in free agency still. There's still a couple sitting around there. It does feel like Pittman's got to carry a little bit, but somebody's always going to step up there in Indy. And you kind of got to, with the Colts and Matt Ryan, you kind of got to worry about the run and the pass kind of equally. That could, the run could open up more for Matt Ryan, the passing game. So I like Matt Ryan a lot for this year, and it kind of shows the good AFC quarterbacks here because he comes in at 8. Got to go Derek Carr, number 7. Adding Devontae Adams was huge. That definitely helps him. It's going to be interesting to kind of compare, how Devontae Adams is with Aaron Rodgers going to Derek Carr. They're both very good quarterbacks. Obviously, one is elite, one of the best to ever play the game. So we'll see how he does with a very good quarterback like Derek Carr. See if there's a difference there. But I like what Carr did at the end of last season. I thought he could have done a little bit more in that playoff game. But I think they're heading in the right direction. But late in the season, I think everyone thought the Raiders were choking. They were about to choke. They couldn't close out late games in the year. Derek Carr kind of got that label. I thought he clutched up. I keep going back to that Colts game. He had that clutch throw to Renfro, which was, people weren't sure if that was a touchdown or not. But, I just remember that throw, and that's kind of Carr kind of showing the world that he can do that, maybe getting over that hump. And, I think it's one of these guys that really can take off because I think everyone views him as a very good quarterback, and I think it's possible that he makes a leap from number 7 in the AFC quarterback to kind of towards the top. I think this is that year to see if he can kind of do that. So excited about Derek Carr here. I got him at number 7. Number 6, I'm going to go Russell Wilson. 6 and 5 was pretty tight. Wilson was considered elite a couple years ago. He very well could get back to that. Last year, he was either hurt or he kind of did struggle. Didn't look like the right Russell Wilson, but I think he came back a little too early. Just got that pin out of his finger. The throwing looked a little off there. Struggled a little bit in the inside the hashes throwing the ball, but kind of goes to a better team here in the Denver Broncos, and then kind of taking that time off, healing up, getting better. So he definitely should be a little solid, but it's something that's kind of in the back of our minds. Is it going to be, which Russell Wilson is it going to be? Honestly, I don't think it's going to be either. And by either, I mean last year's Russell Wilson, which was kind of down here for a Russell Wilson, or that elite, Russell Wilson. I think we'll kind of get more closer towards the elite, but neither really in my opinion. But Yeah, I'm going to have him at number 6 and then number 5. I was back and forth. Put Lamar Jackson at 5. Another guy that was kind of hurt last year as well. Not really worried about Lamar, the injury affecting his play. It's not like his, throwing changes because of the injury. What he can bring to the table running wise, obviously. You look at Russell Wilson, Lamar Jackson. I think Russell Wilson's a better passer, but a little bit more to Lamar Jackson's game to think that he actually can continue to get better as a passer because he's still very young and he's playing for that contract. Wish they would go get him a better receiver in there. They had Mark Andrews. Hopefully Rashad Bateman steps up, but Lamar Jackson, number 5. Number 4, I'm going to go Joe Burrow, who really lit it up last year and showing us what he can become, why he was that top-tier draft prospect a few years ago. Very accurate, beautiful touch pass on Burrow. He has the weapons as well. So crazy to think, not crazy to think that he actually could continue to improve, and that's kind of the scary part there. So I got Burrow at 4. The 3-4 battle is always interesting. I always see people kind of getting in heated debates on it. I got Herbert at 3. Herbert's more of the traits guy. Burrow's more of the gets it done, very accurate. He has flashy moments as well, but what Herbert can become is ridiculous. Something ridiculous, something insane because the traits he has and what he's already presenting on the field here. So I'm very excited about Justin Herbert. I think he's definitely in that MVP category this year. Hopefully his receivers catch the ball a little bit better this year because they led the league in drops. I think they'll do that, meaning I think they'll be a little bit better for him this year, which could help him. He's going to help himself by continuing to improve there. So I like Justin Herbert at 3. And a lot of these guys, so close because Herbert's kind of in my mind for that MVP conversation for this year too. 2, I'm actually going to go with Patrick Mahomes at 2. And again, this video is predicting this upcoming season. Now, if I made this video and said right now, how are they right now? I'd put Patrick Mahomes at 1. And if I made a video or a list saying, just today, rank the best players in football overall, just today, I'd probably put Patrick Mahomes at 1, or he'd be in that debate with maybe a defensive player like Aaron Donald. But I got Patrick Mahomes at 2, and it's really no knock on him. I just think the guy I have at 1 is going to play like the best player in football this year. At this given time, I think that because a lot of these guys, I'm very close back and forth on who will be the best player, who will win the MVP. I've been talking about Herbert being that guy. Burrow could be that guy. But Mahomes, maybe a little bit of an adjustment without Tyreek Hill, but I keep talking about it. It could actually help him because, they don't have Tyreek Hill, but they have more options, more ways to spread it out. So we'll see. Maybe a little bit of adjustment period. Another thing that kind of played a part here when you kind of got to split hairs, a lot of guys close in these categories, is very tough schedule, especially playing that AFC West. Very, very tough schedule, and that kind of plays a factor on production, performance in the regular season, which is a big part of this video because I'm ranking them based on how they'll perform this season. So he's at 2. I'm going to put Josh Allen at 1 for this year. He's a lot further along. We knew what he possibly could become when coming out of Wyoming. Risky pick, but we knew what he can become, but he's a lot further along than anyone expected. He's a lot further along. He really stepped up last year. He's getting smarter as well. The running ability is ridiculous as well. Just such a factor, such a game plan problem. So he actually it's a lot of these guys are young quarterbacks, which just shows how much the quarterback of the era, the game today has changed. But a lot of these guys can continue to get better because they're still so young. But I think Josh Allen is actually that prime guy. There's guys younger, less years in the league, but Josh Allen was that raw prospect coming out, so he has a lot of room to grow. Well, at the same time, he can create more room to grow, I guess, because it's when you say somebody has a lot of room to grow, it's maybe they're struggling a little bit. Not the case for Josh Allen, but I'm predicting him to be number 1 here this year. I think his running ability definitely plays a factor because he was so dominant there last year, and that opens up for the pass. He's getting better and better as a passer, more consistent. The mechanics are kind of looking like polished at this point because he came in, got to work on it. Then there's still some problems, but now it's kind of at that point being polished at this early of a stage. So pretty crazy. So I'm going to go Josh Allen 1 here, but all these guys are so tight. You see the AFC teams are so good because the AFC quarterbacks are so damn good. We got MVP candidates, down the line. I think you can even talk about as far down, we got Derek Carr at 7. I don't think that's really out of the picture either. So a lot of MVP candidates on this video. The NFC quarterbacks we'll do next video. Definitely different. There's some very talented ones, but it's just different on the patches. There's a bigger group of very good guys in the AFC, but there's more second-year quarterbacks there maybe. But it's interesting how different it is. But we'll eventually put it all together and rank the top 32 starting quarterbacks. We'll do that for other position groups as well. But excited to get to all these rankings, predictions, and more here. So join us for that. Like, subscribe, turn notifications on. Follow us on Twitter. Always talking with you guys there. A lot of news, updates, and more there as well. So check it out. That is going to do it for this one. Thanks for watching. Goodbye.